Hey, good morning, you guys. I am excited to be here this morning. Are you guys ready for an awesome morning coffee chat? I am just starting Instagram. Awesome. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday. Anyway, I am fired up today. I took some notes. This is actually what I do when I am doing a training. My notes literally look like this when I'm doing a training. I think sometimes people might find that interesting because I literally sit down with a pen and paper and a Sharpie and I write out my notes of what it is that I actually want to teach. I do this before I actually lead any of my client calls. I do this for even the zone event coming up. I have a folder for the zone event. Actually, I'll show you. This is so great. I love this. So look at this. Isn't this great? So I picked these up. This is what will be behind the curtain at the zone event. Chase your dreams. You might catch one. So I always am filling my space with positive thoughts because of the fact that if you actually are thinking negatively, you'll actually attract a thought that will scare the shit out of you, which will actually sabotage everything you want, right? So it always seems impossible until it's done. Right? It always seems impossible until it's done. So true. And then I love this one. Believe in the good in everything. Believe in the good in everything. I love that. So I probably do that to an unbelievably opportunity for huge success inside my company. Okay, so what are you drinking this morning for coffee? I'm having my macchiato. I love it. Some people at the zone event are going to get this cup. There's 2 weeks of people joining to go to the zone event that are getting those cups with additional thumb drive with all these trainings on it. I'm excited for that. Okay, so let's jump into it as I'm digressing. Okay, so again, this is the notes that I do. I do notes like this. It literally looks like this every training that I do, whether it's a virtual class or a coffee with Shanda. I typically almost always write down notes that look like this. It's not complicated. It's not beautiful. I'm just showing you this because I think the simpler you can get in your mind, the more successful you will be. The more complicated, the more you say things like I have to disconnect from my life or my business to rest, the more you've got a problem of stress. If you've got a problem of stress, I'm telling you, stop studying a million things on the web. Just get focused on one thing. Simplify things. If you simplify things, your life will work so much better. Last year, I remember at one point I was spinning like crazy. And I was like, God, I feel the pressure. You know that pressure where it's like you have a hard time breathing or you're like, I'm forgetting to breathe, that type of pressure. I was having that type of pressure last year at one point because there was a lot on my plate. But not only was there a lot on my plate, my to-do list looked like it was an oversized Post-it with 7 things on my to-do list. Now, some of you guys are saying 7 things. I have 7 things a day. I don't. I have 1, 2, or 3. I have 1, 2, or 3 every single day that I need to focus on. I have 1 today. And I don't consider this one, meaning that this is a plate I'm spinning that doesn't take a lot of effort for me anymore to actually show up and do 6 a.m. coffees with Shanda, right? So your life keeps getting bigger and you keep holding more. As you keep holding more, you don't get to say, you don't get to basically bury underneath the pressure and the stress. You add things slowly onto your plate so that you can balance it and hold on to it. You add team members into your company so that you can manage it and balance it, right? So let's talk about what I want to talk about today. So I often get asked the question, how else can I get my products out into the marketplace? I especially get this question asked to me by my clients, which is funny because I actually teach them this piece. But what happens is it's very easy to get bored with what you're doing. It's very easy to feel like maybe you're not getting enough traction, and you think that if you go out there and figure out a new strategy that you will grow much quicker. And I just want to caution you with that thought process. Go deep in your intimacy with whatever you're working on. So if you're a client of mine, I'm going to recommend that you go very deep on your email list building. If you're not a client of mine, I'm going to recommend you go very deep on your email list building. So for instance, I recommend that you focus on building an email list that is 50,000 people. Here's why. 50,000 people means that you're never going to starve again. If you have 50,000 people on your email list, you can put out a less than even good email and make money. Okay, like meaning that you don't have to be skilled up in all these different areas of marketing to be able to make money. This is important because if you can't feed yourself, it's going to be very challenging for you to make a difference for other people, right? So you got to take care of your security and your survival so that you can look up and help more people. And so if you want to just be very comfortable in life, build your email list to 25,000, right? So stop for a second and just hear me. What are you doing right now in your business or to grow a business? What are you focusing on? If you're focusing on building your social media following right now, before actually focusing on building a 25,000 or 50,000 email list, then you are focusing on the wrong thing. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm going to talk about social media in a second. The first thing I want you to focus on is going very deep on your email list build, because everybody can send out an email, and literally you could send out a video like this and teach the way I'm teaching right now on Instagram Live, Facebook Live. And if you wanted to, you can make an offer for somebody to come work with you. You can make an offer for somebody to private message you. You can make an offer for somebody to email you at this email address, right? If they want more of whatever it is that you're speaking about. If that's the case, at that point, that is a simple opportunity to have a sales conversation with someone, right? So you don't have to know how to make an offer. You don't even have to know what you're offering. You just have to actually pick a point that you're going to serve, talk about, speak about, teach about, educate about. And from that point, you can actually lead that to a sales conversation. If I'm getting confusing at all, just go ahead and just post a question, because I can see them on Instagram and I can see them on Facebook. And so let me just kind of regurgitate or re-clarify that. So if you want to never worry about financial stress again, and you want to be able to grow your skills as an entrepreneur in a very low pressure way, focus on building your email list first. I'm actually going to teach this today at 12 o'clock Pacific. I actually don't have the link in here because that's not why I do this. I wasn't doing this to lead you to anything. But I will post it in the thread on Facebook. I'll post it in the thread on Facebook before, let's just say about 5 minutes after I do the Facebook Live, okay? So, but what you want to do is you want to build the email list, and you want to build it fast and furious to 25,000 to 50,000. How long should that take you? Well, if you really focused for a year, you could do it in a year to 2 years if you really focused on it. There's ways of doing it where you do an influencer build, which I like best, which is where you're interviewing other influencers and they share your interview with their database. There is, there's Facebook traffic. Please don't run your own Facebook ads. This is if you want to run Facebook ads, find a good team. I've got a great team. I can recommend you to a great team. Nick Kushmich is amazing. Go hire a really good team. It's going to cost you money. They're like $7,000 to $10,000 a month. But the truth is that they'll build your email list, right? So they'll build your email list fast and furious. And so choose which way you want to do it. If you're not somebody that has a ton of money, then maybe reach out to me, send me a private message. I'll give you a link to join my webinar today at 12 noon Pacific or 3 Eastern, and I'll teach you I'll teach you an influencer build, which literally you can do in 30, 60, or 90 days, and it'll cost you probably around $1,200 to do it, which you can spread that out. Right? So if you want to do Facebook marketing, don't run your own ads. Hire a good team. Do not hire a team that's $3,000 a month or less. They suck. I'm sorry to say that. They suck. They don't have enough people in their organization that they're paying really well to be able to hold good clients. So you need to go ahead. If you want to do the Facebook thing, then I'm going to recommend that you hire a really good team. Nick Kushmich is phenomenal, and he'll cost you about $7,500 a month to $10,000 a month, depending on your account, right? Again, who cares how you do it? What matters is that you do it so that you never have to worry again, right? The second thing I want you to focus on is after you build your email list, then I want you to look to social platforms. These are ways for you to distribute your products, your services, your whatever you do, your programs. They're great. The reason why they're great is because you can do things like this and you can connect. Connection is currency. The more that you can frequent connection, right? Like if you could do 2-3 Instagram lives a day, now that might stress some people out. If you could just reduce your stress intake and just document what you're doing in a day. Like this morning on Instagram, I was making my coffee and I was turning on the lights in my house, in my beach condo. And as I was doing that, I was just doing a quick, Instagram live, just saying, hey, I'm going to be doing an Instagram live at 6 a.m. talking about, how to reduce your stress and grow your business. If that's something you're interested in, come back at 6 a.m. Pacific. That's one. I might do another one like when I'm dropping off my son, right? It's interesting to see, like I run this multiple 7-figure company. What is Shanda doing behind the scenes? Well, I'm a normal, everyday woman, just like anybody else. I'm just a regular human being. And I put my clothes on 1 foot at a time. I have dreams and aspirations that scare the shit out of me. And I drop my son off every day at school and pick him up. I go to soccer practice. I do all the mom stuff, right? And so to do an Instagram story while I'm going into school with him, I wouldn't do it every day because the fact that I want to be present with my son, but to do it as an Instagram story, there's not really a whole lot to think about because it's more documentary style, right? People love that. They love that. Your channels will grow very fast if you're being low stress like that and you're just allowing people to peek into your life. The things you might not think are interesting, other people find very interesting, okay? So I would tie my Instagram live in with the fact that I'm a business owner. So, hey, you guys, just don't be too busy. And I do something like, I'm pretending to hold the phone here. Hey, you guys, don't be too busy to spend time with the people that you love. I'm here taking my son to school right now. This is his school. We're walking to his classroom. I might video him as he's walking, kissing him goodbye, saying hi to the kids in the classroom, and then saying, bye, I'm off, and then getting back into my G-Wagon, which is a beautiful $170,000 car. And I'm showing like all the different aspects of, you can make a ton of money, you can have beautiful things, and you can also be an incredibly present like mom or dad, right? And so I would tie it into all of that so that it made sense for my followers to be inspired, because my followers follow me to build businesses, right? So what I'm trying to say to you is I wouldn't do a random one that just said, hey, I'm taking my son to school, ha 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 ha. Like I wouldn't do that. I would actually make it useful for my clients to inspire somebody who maybe is having an either or choice about, do I spend time with my family or do I build an incredible business? Right? And it's not an either or. It's just reduce your stress level, stop being a stress case, and you'll get a lot more done so you can do both, right? The other thing now I'm looking at my little sheet on my notes that I took to make sure that I'm grounded to give you guys some good information. And so the next thing I shared is that, to grow these social media platforms, we all do it through our email list. So do you ever wonder why? It's actually quite hilarious to me. Okay, I'm gonna be a little, it's not really catty. I'm gonna be honest, but it sounds catty. It drives me crazy when I see people teach social media builds and they tell you all about like hashtags and, all of these things to like grow your platforms, which are all great. They work. But they leave out the most important piece, and that is that they have these big email lists. And if I send an email to my database today, and I send a PS, are we connected on Facebook yet? If not, let's go ahead and do that now. And I put my link to Facebook, my Facebook numbers will jump. Like they'll jump. If I do that for Instagram, my Instagram numbers will jump. Right? And so everybody keeps leaving out some of the most important details on growing your platforms. It is not just going out and speaking or using hashtags. It's actually it's much easier to front load it with your list. And by the way, when you start to have some good followers on your platforms, guess what? People like to keep following. So the hashtags are great. They're fantastic. But I don't believe in buying fake followers. I don't believe in that at all. It just messes up your account. So all those, little stupid tactics online to grow your followers automated, like in an automated way, steer away from those things because they just screw up your accounts, right? So, and they're just for getters. Don't be a getter, be a giver, right? So put in the time to build the email list, front load your channels with your email list, and then I recommend that you don't study any social media builds if you're an entrepreneur. I actually recommend you hire somebody on your team to build your following after you front load it with your email list. So I think one of the things that I do really well for people is I save you money. If you follow me, I'll save you money building your business. And I help you prioritize what you're working on so you don't feel like you're spinning, your business with your head's going, what the heck do I focus on? This is stressful. I know if I reduce your stress level, you'll grow faster. So don't be in such a hurry to be on every platform, even though you're told that, like you need to be everywhere, you do need to be everywhere. But if you're everywhere next year or the year after, it's okay. Build your email list first, front load your accounts, then choose what account do you really want to build first. So I built my Facebook following first. By the way, my email list is uploaded into the back of my Facebook account. That's how we run ads. That's how we create what's called lookalike audiences, which means that our Facebook team mirrors my audience. Facebook has got a ton of data on you, mirrors my audience and finds other people who have the same habits as you in different countries, in different cities. So now I can multiply my efforts much quicker and reach many more people. Right? So again, it wouldn't make sense if I was focusing on cold traffic or Facebook ads to grow my life or my business before building an email list, because that would be pushing a boulder uphill, doing a lot more work than you need to do, because if you just upload an email list, you'll expand much quicker, right? But pick one platform to build first. Once you focus on one platform to build first, then you can focus on the next. So maybe you focus for 6 months. Hire someone. Go to sites like Upwork. There's onlinejobs.ph, which is a group in the Philippines, right? And find people that can help you build your social platform on your team. Often, you guys, these are like $600 bills a month. They could be $1,000 bills a month, right? Where you can actually find your own individual people to help you grow your platforms. But what I recommend first is focus on building the email list. So if you want me to train you on how to build the email list the way I recommend doing it, then you can send me an instant message, and I'll have someone on my team share with you the link to be able to register to come join me live at 12 noon. I will not be teaching this again live just because I want to move on and teach other things. And our client base is growing into wanting other things. And so I'm going to train it once live today at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come live, let me teach you how to do that. And then after that, and so to get that, just send me a private message. And then after that, you can always get the replay. But I recommend coming live because you can ask me questions and I'll be on the stream answering questions. Again, back to my notes. These are my notes, very stressless notes on how to lead these type of things, right? Okay, so my last piece, and I'll end here, and we're at 20 minutes, so I only do this from 6 a.m. to 6:20 so that you don't suck into your whole day trying to listen to education, okay? I just want to give you nuggets so that you can move forward today. So if you're just tuning in now, I see our stream numbers going way up right now. If you're tuning in now, I actually recommend that you actually just go back and watch the beginning of this, because there's a lot of details about distributing your products and services online, and you're going to miss them if you only listen to this piece, okay? I'll end on this. Once you've built those distribution channels, you need to ask yourself, what are you going to sell? And you're either going to sell something that's called a sales lead offer, which is a $7 to $197 product. A sales lead offer means that, first of all, it's just as easy or hard to sell as a $10,000 product. And so I know that sounds crazy, but it's as much effort to sell a $200 product as it is to sell a $10,000 product. It just depends on what's your vision, what are you trying to create, and what do you need your back end to look like. In other words, if you need money and you're a coach or a consultant, really honestly, anybody can sell their advice and make money. You have advice on many things. I know you do. And if you need money right now, I actually recommend building your distribution channels the way I just shared with you, and then selling like a $10,000 product. And you've got to do that on a phone call. Okay, that's not something you're going to do off a webinar or a video or anything like that. If anybody gives you bad advice like that, please listen to me. You need to have a phone call. If you don't like the phone, get somebody else to handle the phone for you. But you have to have phone calls as part of your business model. I know that a lot of people out there say, if you hate the phone, follow this model. But if you listen, their model has somebody else actually getting on the phone. So if you want to make big money, the phone is a piece to be able to have to make big money. So on your distribution channels, you can either lead people to a call that either you take or somebody else takes, or you can sell a $7 or $197 product. To make a ton of money with a $7 or $197 product, you need to get volume, which means that you definitely have to be someone who's willing to invest in the big Facebook teams that are very expensive, but they're great. They're great, right? But you need to know your messaging. You need to know your funnels. You need to have all that worked out before you start playing that game. Otherwise, you're going to sink a lot of cash into a black hole. So I hope this helped. I hope I didn't confuse anybody. It's Friday, but I wanted to just bring that whole kind of chain of events into your space so that hopefully I prevent you from focusing on the wrong thing at the wrong time and burning through time that could really hurt your bank account. And if your bank account's hurt, or you're just tired of just spinning your wheels and you know you have a big vision and a big dream, then go ahead, jump on with me at 12 noon on a web class that I'm doing to get that. Look, I wasn't planning on sharing this, so I didn't post this link anywhere. You're going to have to send me a private message, and then I'll have somebody on my team go ahead and send you the link. So God bless. Have a phenomenal weekend. If you're going to be on the web class with me at 12 Pacific, awesome. I'll see you then. Other than that, I'll see you on Monday at 6 a.m. with Coffee with Shanda. Tuesday, I have a very good friend of mine online with me. It won't be on Instagram on Tuesday. She built a $25 million company in the diet industry, working from home, doesn't have an office, and homeschooling 2 of her children. She's also very spiritual, incredible mom, and I think she's a huge inspiration on what to focus on. And she's the one that focused on the low-end products, but she got huge volume. So she's going to talk about that and how she did that and how she also did that walking with God. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.